In the latest chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen, we finally get to see the battle commence between Yuta and Sukuna. And as a follow-up to my Yuta will cook Sukuna video, by the way, everybody interpreted as me saying Yuta will beat Sukuna. No, I didn't say that if you watched the video. That's not what I meant. But everything I said seems to be pretty accurate. Yuta in this chapter was able to exchange blows with Sukuna. But like I said, even with the help of Rika, he won't be too effective in fighting hand to hand since Sukuna has 4 arms and he was able to keep up with them this chapter and parry their attacks. Yuta did manage to hit Sukuna in the mouth though, which was a smart move by him since all his arms were occupied, which allowed Yuta to land a clean hit on Sukuna's mouth belly thingy. By the way, it's important to note that Yuta was able to withstand Sukuna's slashes like it was nothing this chapter, which I found to be pretty impressive. Yuta managed to get that hit in on Sukuna by occupying his arms, which is a great way to go about this. Because like I said in my previous video, they can't really keep up in hand to hand with Sukuna. Yuta even takes advantage of this when he pops his domain this chapter called Mutual Love or Unequivocal Love. I know some people might be clowning the name. It's a little funny, I'll be honest. This domain is one of the coolest looking domains in the entire series and most definitely one of the strongest. Yuta in this domain has a lethal surehit effect of curse techniques that he copied. It is said this chapter that the surehit effect is most likely Angel's curse technique, which is a good assumption by Sukuna since she's powerful especially to incarnated sorcerers. Hold up, before we continue, you guys are some legends by the way. The JJK videos have been going crazy recently on the channel, so thank you guys once again for the support. If you like these JJK videos, subscribe and like the video. You guys get to see Gege destroy all my predictions, first class seats to witness my downfall. In Yuta's domain, he's surrounded by swords that engulf the entire area. Seemingly, each of these swords contain a different curse technique from all of Yuta's copy techniques, or it can function in a way where he can choose to use a certain technique whenever he picks up the swords. It's not quite clear. Yuta picking up any of these swords essentially allows him to use a copy technique like he did in this chapter when he used Uro's Thin Icebreaker, which was a smart move to use by Yuta because not only is Sukuna in a bad predicament right now, he can't really directly guard against Thin Icebreaker because it's not directly hitting him and Sukuna can't really guard from the attack, and it essentially resulted in Sukuna's eye getting damaged. What makes this domain extremely broken is the fact that he has a sure hit effect that you have to defend against, hence why Sukuna was using Hollow Wicker Basket this chapter. He has Rika that you have to defend against while in the domain, and lastly, you have to defend against Yuta who can use any curse technique he wants. Like bro, what the fuck? That's ridiculous. It's crazy to know that Akari is as strong as this guy. Sorry, I just had to sprinkle some agenda real quick. But it does seem like whatever technique Yuta uses may not be available after using it because we see that his sword disappears after he uses Thin Icebreaker. So that can be a way of balancing out this ridiculous domain. Going back to Sukuna, he uses Hollow Wicker Basket to defend against Yuta's surehit effect, which is the ghetto version of Simple Domain for these incarnated sorcerers, which you come to find out needs to be activated 24/7 by making hand seals. And this is very convenient for a guy like Sukuna because he has 4 arms. People are saying, oh shit, he has Hollow Wicker Basket. This could have changed the Gojo fight. Maybe High-Air Sukuna does beat Gojo because he can use Hollow Wicker Basket to not get hit by Infinite Void. That's a different conversation. But what is the pattern we noticed here, guys? Yuta was able to hit Sukuna for the first time by occupying his arms. He's now limited to only using 2 arms for the entire duration of Yuta's domain, or until he gets his domain back, which was their plan all along like Sukuna said. They plan on keeping half his arms and mouth busy. This will inevitably lead to them creating several openings to harm Sukuna like Yuta did already twice. Now this gets even crazier since our boy Yuji got name dropped at the end of the chapter and is ready to give Sukuna the smoke alongside Yuta. We might have even got revealed to Yuji's curse technique this chapter. We finally got revealed to the reason as to why Yuji's punch shook up Sukuna a couple of chapters ago. It's because, as Sukuna states, the brat and his soul seizing punches, which implies he's attacking the soul when Yuji attacks Sukuna, which is something we already knew Yuji could do. But what makes it interesting is that Sukuna says he will try and tear Sukuna out of Megami and that he finally has a role to play. If Yuji can truly do that, save Megami, then at that point it's more than just hurting the soul, and his curse technique could be based off conjuring one's soul. Maybe that wasn't the right word, but you guys know what I'm trying to say. There's more credence to Yuji's curse technique being soul related because some people actually believe that Yuji might actually have the ability to soul swap, and it's not too crazy because after he came back from the time skip, we see Kusakabe and Yuji training, but we see Yuji's body talking to Yuji. Yuji's body is talking to Kusakabe's body, but he's calling Kusakabe's body Yuji. If this is the case, it's a possibility of Yuji swapping souls with Megumi to either sacrifice himself or to use it as a way to defeat Sukuna. Imagine they use it like Boogie Woogie. Oh shit, Megumi, you come out here, you use your curse technique, you use Maharaga, and when you can't do nothing, swap out with me, I'ma use my shit, and then yo, let's keep going back and forth. Alright, let me stop joking around. I just thought of this right now, but this would be a perfect time for them to bring back Megumi. I'm a big believer that it makes sense for Megumi to have an impact on the finale of the series. Gojo attempted to save Megumi but ended up losing to Sukuna. They tried to save Megumi with the Executioner Sword, and that whole plan failed. It's only fitting that Yuji, the main character, can finally have his moment and can finally be the one to save his best friend. Yuji has many moments in the series being helpless to save people he cares about. It's time for redemption. Being the main force against Sukuna and having a supposed curse technique that correlates to freeing Megumi, I think this moment is written on the wall for us. It is said this chapter by Yuta that Sukuna's reverse curse technique is starting to return, and soon he will be able to use domain expansion. I have a theory with what's going to happen after that, and I want to save it for my next video, so I won't spoil it. But I believe until Sukuna recovers, this is the time where Yuji and Yuta will get the one up on Sukuna and beat the shit out of him. Think about it like this. You have Yuta with Rika and Yuji all fighting against a two-armed Sukuna who has to keep up Hollow Wicker Basket at all times. The amount of pressure Sukuna is going to receive from all those characters at the same time is crazy. Let's not forget Yuta has some curse techniques that he could throw at him as well that can even apply more pressure to Sukuna. Heck, we even have guys like Ino who could potentially get involved. I'm kind of trolling, I'm kind of not. He's fodder, but like, he wasn't swinging a Nami's blade too bad, I'm not gonna lie. Sukuna even praised him a little bit. Sukuna with no domain expansion and his RCT is only now starting to recover, and being trapped in Yuta's domain makes this a crucial moment that Yuji and Yuta need to take advantage of, in which I definitely believe they will. This is the start of Sukuna's downfall. Listen, in this time frame where Sukuna doesn't have his shit up is when Yuta and Yuji will perform. What's crazy is that I'm saying all of this like Sukuna doesn't have the opportunity to go on the offensive as well. Like Sukuna just started using a lot of the world culling slashes or just used a lot of dismantles and cleaves on everybody there, it would still be a problem. Even if this guy wanted to, he could technically reinforce himself with curse energy. Like there's some stuff he can do, like he can use other abilities. It's just like at some point this guy has to start losing, and like it makes the most sense for it to be right now. But what happens when Sukuna fully recovers? Sukuna fully recovered, he might give those guys a problem. Would they lose?